Welcome back, everyone. Our guest today is Angela Davis, and Angela is the campaign coordinator for the Marine Corps Reserve Toys for Tots Polk County chapter. We're going to talk to Angela a little bit about how she came to have a servant's heart, how she got down here to Polk County, and her evolution from Mrs. Florida, beauty queen, to the campaign coordinator for Toys for Tots, how she has organized and grown the organization, and her goals for what she wants to do with the organization in the future, and how you can get involved with Toys for Tots. It's going to be a great podcast. I hope you enjoy this one. Hey, welcome back to Todd's podcast, everyone. We've got a great guest for you today. Little different topic than we've had in the past, but I think you're going to enjoy it. First, I want to give a shout out to a mutual friend of ours, Brian Lacey, Brian with a Y, who introduced Angela, our guest, to me through a text the other day, and I went and met Angela with Toys for Tots, and she is our guest today, Angela Harwell Davis. She was born and raised in the heart of Virginia's Shenandoah Valley. Her great-grandfather established a thriving apple and peach orchard up there, and that kind of became the cornerstone of their community. Her father is a proud Vietnam veteran and native of Rockingham County, and her mom is a New Yorker and self-described military brat. And they instilled in Angela both a strong work ethic and a lifelong commitment to service. The family opened their home to refugees from Vietnam and Africa and participated in the Fresh Air program. I don't really know what that is, but I kind of have an idea. And where they welcomed children from New York City into their lives each summer. And these experiences really helped to shape Angela's enduring belief in the power of compassion and giving back. Angela moved to Lakeland in August of '77. And she married her late husband, Bruce, who was a manufacturer's rep. And later she married current husband, Rod Davis, who distinguished career with the Coast Guard and Southwest Airlines. In Florida, Angela took an unexpected leap, which I found this very interesting, into the world of pageantry. And we've had a couple of the former Miss Florida pageant winners that have been on the last couple of years. So, never thought you would probably do that at some point, or did you always want to be in the pageant world? But it became a powerful extension of her advocacy for volunteerism. And she placed fourth in her first competition. Then she went on to win multiple titles, including Mrs. Florida Galaxy, Mrs. Florida United States, and Mrs. Florida United America, ultimately capturing a national crown. These platforms, they gave Angela the opportunity to embrace volunteerism and community engagement, and that was your platform, is my understanding. This intro is a little long, so just hang with me. I know Eli's saying wrap it up, but I want to talk about that because that's going to get into what our topic is. After that, she became involved. She got involved with Toys for Tots through her longtime friendship with David Wally Waller. Wally became ill and asked Angela to take over, which she did, and she's going to talk a little bit about that and her passion. She lives here in South Lakeland with her husband, Rod. They've got 2 Yorkies. They've got a Maltese named Wrigley and a gentle giant, Frank the Great Dane. I do think that if you decide to get a couple of donkeys, you should name them Brian Lacey and Ed Wolf, just out of spite, if nothing else. And she's got 2 grown daughters and 3 grandchildren. What do your grandchildren call you? What's your grandmother's name?
Grandma.
Grandma? Very nice. Well, Angela Davis, thank you very much for coming in. Welcome to Todd's podcast. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, because anytime I have an opportunity to talk about Toys for Tots, I'm going to jump at that opportunity.
Yeah. And again, I wanted to give you Angela's background of how she became so involved with her servant's heart and wanted to do this with her platform. Brian, I mentioned him earlier. I think he's the unofficial ambassador to Hooters retirement home chapter in the Villages. And, if you all don't know Brian, you should stay away from him. He's probably got a restraining order against him anyway. But Angela, tell us a little bit about your time with Mrs. Florida, Mrs. USA, your platform, and why you did that. Was it to have the platform?
Well, the whole thing with me doing pageants was a total spoof. I was working in an office, and a lady came in one day who was actually a director for Mrs. Florida, United States. And she goes, "You're attractive. You should do pageants." And not to offend anybody out there, but I thought to myself, this lady's been hitting a crack pipe out in her car. There's no way. Anyway, it kind of became a joke in the office. I got dared. My husband was supportive of it. I went on the stage. I came out as fourth place. And then it was like, well, you placed. Now you've got to go back and do this again. But I went into that totally blind. I had no idea. I'm sitting in a dressing room. These women are talking about their coaches and all these people they hire to help them. And I'm like, what the hell? You have people, you're paying people to teach you to do this? Anyway, I ended up following the lead. I got sucked in. I got a coach. I started working on it. But what really impressed me about it, it's not the big hair and the dresses and the butt glue you have to wear with a bathing suit. It does give you an opportunity to open doors that you may not normally get. Because I can call somebody and I can say, hey, I'm Angela Davis. I'd like to talk to you about whatever. But when you say, I'm Angela Davis, I'm the reigning Mrs. Florida, United States, for some reason, people seem to open the door a little bit easier. Right. So I knew this was going to be a way for me to get more doors open and to help share something I'm very passionate about, which, as you mentioned in my bio, is volunteering and giving back.
Well, you won a number of titles. Was volunteering, giving back your platform through all of your competitions? Did it ever evolve into something else, or was that your common theme throughout?
Always it was about volunteerism and giving back. It did change a little bit. I don't think we ever talked about this, but I did go back when I was 50. This was after I was widowed. And I did add into that trying to also help with, I lost my husband to liver cancer. And there's just a lot more that could be done there. So I kind of put the two together. So it was volunteerism and also being a spokesperson for liver cancer.
Okay. So tell us how you got involved with Toys for Tots and your relationship with Wally.
Well, the friendship with Wally goes back many, many years. My late husband was from Miami, and he would travel up to Lake Wales a lot, which is where Wally was from. My husband was best friends with Wally's cousin, so you see how this works, you know, how that kind of feeds out there. Welcome to Polk County.
It's Imperial Polk County.
Imperial Polk County.
It's on the letterhead.
Yes, okay. We'll make sure we get it right. So anyway, that's how I first met Wally. And Wally was one of those people, you know, kind of like we talk about Brian Lacey, same thing, I don't know how to describe it. You want to be around them. They're just fun. They're inviting. Right. Wally was always just a lot of fun to be around. So anyway, he was still working for FDLE at the time when I first met him, obviously. But as time went on, he retired. Toys for Tots didn't have anybody to run it. There was no Toys for Tots. It had completely stopped in Polk County, and Wally took it over. And of course, my phone rings. Wally wants somebody to go out and help him, knowing my background with volunteerism, to help, you know, get the word out, do some fundraising. So I started, I think it was in 2019 with Wally, not involved in, you know, the day-to-day stuff, but I was going to events and trying to help raise money and bring awareness to the cause. And we'll fast forward then. So in 2022, Wally says, I want to do a golf tournament. So he actually recruited me. We brought in Ed Wolf, which I will get a donkey and name it after him because it seems appropriate.
It does.
So we end up doing a golf tournament. About a week or so prior to the golf tournament, I was also doing a real estate deal with Wally at the time. I noticed he was a little off. He just wasn't himself. And about a week before the tournament, he was at my house, and I remember I said to my husband, I said, something's wrong with that man, because I could tell. I said, he's just not himself. Anyway, at the golf tournament, unfortunately, Wally took a fall, and his wife ended up taking him to the hospital, and just within hours after that, we found out that he had a brain tumor.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was quick. I think that was like October 16th, something like that, and we lost him on November 19th.
Wow.
It was brutal, and still my heart goes out to his wife, Kim. I mean, I can't imagine what that did to her. That was tough. But after Wally ended up in the hospital, I remember I was going to go play golf, and I was headed to the golf course, and he called me. And if you knew Wally, one of his favorite words to call everybody was baby cakes. And the phone rings, and he goes, hey, baby cakes, what you doing? I said, I'm going to go out here and, you know, tear up some landscape, play a little golf. And he goes, I need you to come to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. He was in the ICU at that time, and his wife Kim was with him. And they had a backpack there, a Toys for Tots backpack, and it had different notes and supplies and things in there.
That was the mobile office.
Yeah, and he basically said, "You're going to have to take care of the baby." And we had a nice little chat. And I remember this so distinctly. I walked out of that hospital, went to the parking garage, got in my car, and I sat there, and I kind of, how you just throw your hands up on the steering wheel, and I thought to myself, what the hell have I gotten myself into? And then, of course, even now, it's emotional for me. The tears just came. Yeah. Because Wally was, he was a great person. He was larger than life. Yeah. And, I was kind of enjoying my life. Now, all of a sudden, I got this huge responsibility. So now where we're at now, and I have no regrets. And I hope to God I'm making him happy and proud.
I'm quite sure he is.
Thank you.
Quite sure he is. Everyone's heard about the Toys for Tots program, and the official title is Marines Toys for Tots. Is that still being administered by the Marines? Are the Marines still part of this?
It is definitely the Marine Toys for Tots Foundation. I do answer to them. They have total control of what I do.
Right.
Everything I do, I answer to them. Matter of fact, the president and CEO of Toys for Tots is a retired 3-star general, General James Lassiter, a wonderful man. He's visited Polk County several times. He was actually there at the golf course the day that Wally fell.
Oh, my goodness.
And he also was inspirational. I still had the text from him saying, to come and take over Polk County. So, yes, the Marines are still very much involved, but what you were saying about the myth, and this is one of the hardest things I've had to deal with, is you get that phone call from people and they go, when are the Marines going to hand out the toys? Can I go out and help hand out the toys? And can I have a Marine come to my event? Well, there are no Marines. So I'm going to give you kind of the long version of this. There are bases around the United States where they are voluntold. That's kind of our inside thing. They are voluntold to run a Toys for Tots program. Then you take a community like ours. We don't have that here. So they have what they call a LCO, Local Community Organizer. And they are volunteers who step up to take on that responsibility. Basically, we're just helping the Marines get this program out there, which is a good thing because there's a lot of children out there who need this program. So that's what we are. We're an LCO, and I know there's a lot of Marines out here in Polk County, former Marines, still active Marines, whatever. They should be calling me because I could put them to work.
Good. How many chapters are there? Is it a worldwide organization or is it just primarily in the U.S.?
Toys for Tots is in the United States. It's in Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. Okay, that's it. I've got to tell you, I did not go to the conference this year. So to my knowledge, the number of actual Toys for Tots within the United States would be around 800, I believe. They might be around 840 now, but that's a lot of us out there.
Right. The geography that each chapter has, do they delineate it by county? Is it just an area? Could a city have their own if the city's big enough or supports it enough? Or do they try and do 3 or 4 counties? How do they kind of decide where a local chapter is? Maybe it's just, I got a volunteer who wants to run one. Let's prop them up and see what we can do. I
think there's a lot of truth to that because what happens is if you want to become an LCO, you would reach out to Toys for Tots. They have an application process you go to. And again, they have some areas that just do half a county.
Right.
They have some places that do multiple counties. I believe in Georgia they have a lady who does 17 counties. I can't imagine because I got my hands full with just one. But again, it just depends. You sit down with them and you go back and forth and they figure out where the need is and what you can handle. And then that's what they would assign and agree to have you do. And when I want to talk about that too, it's not just any Joe Blow can walk off the street and say, I want to run a Toys for Tots.
Right.
They do put you through a background check, a credit check. There's now an online class you have to take. All these things have to be done before they will even accept you to become
congratulations on passing the background test.
I passed the background check. Thank goodness for that one. That must have been Wally checking me out from up above.
How does, this podcast is not just Polk County. We go across the state and really across the nation. We have different people calling from all over. How would one find their local chapter of Toys for Tots if they want to help get involved?
That's an easy one. toysfortots.org.
Okay.
That is your Bible. And on there, you'll find all the information you need to do. And they have a thing on there, to open your own chapter. And that's where you would start, right there. And they'll be happy to have you, because with the more, the merrier. We got a lot of children in need.
Right. And if there's already a chapter in your community, in your area, and you want to get involved, does it have your name and contact information, and say, hey, if you want to get involved in Polk County, text or email Angela, whatever?
So when you go online, you can either start a chapter. If you're looking for your local chapter, it has on there, I think it's right on the homepage now, find your local chapter. It's broken down by state and then county, and they has everybody's information on there, how to get in touch with them. Some of them even have on there what their needs are.
Todd's podcast is sponsored in part by Saunders Real Estate, your trusted partner in land and commercial real estate since 1996. With over 125 expert advisors located throughout the Southeast United States, the full-service brokerage specializes in a wide range of property types, from farms and ranches to commercial buildings and development land. If you're looking to build your legacy with a confident investment, please visit SaundersRealEstate.com or call 877-518-5263 to connect with an advisor today. What age group children are you targeting?
Well, that depends. That's also left up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's left to the LCO to decide. We have some that go all the way up to 18. Here in Polk County, first off, as you know, Polk County is huge.
Yep.
So we do everything from birth to 12 years of age. And part of our reason, this is our reasoning, this is not Toys for Tots, but our reasoning is we're here to supplement for Santa. And 12 years old seems to be a good breaking point for that. So that's why we do 0 to 12. But again, it's up to the discretion of the coordinator for wherever.
So if a different coordinator comes in, they may say, hey, I think I need to take it to 15, and it's boys and girls.
That is correct.
And how does a child qualify to be able to get these toys?
So this is another thing that's nice about the Toys for Tots Foundation. They leave that kind of decision up to the LCO. So in Polk County, I've kind of taken what was already in place and tightened it up a little bit. So I look at it with a business background. I just look at it like this. Todd, you give me a check today for $1,000. I have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that $1,000 is being spent the best way possible for these kids.
Right.
So, and I'm hesitant to talk about this a little bit, but as we all know, everything in this world has a little bit of fraud. There's always somebody who's going to try and beat the system. So one of the things I saw going on here in Polk County was we require that every family be getting assistance from the county or the state, food stamps, WIC, Medicaid, something like that. Okay, as long as you're getting assistance, we're going to be here to assist you also. Prior to me, you could have a food stamp card and you could fill out an application. And you can say, hey, why don't you fill out an application? Well, I don't get food stamps. Yeah, but you just take my card down there. They don't look at it. You just have to flash it, and you're going to get toys. Right. That was happening here in Polk County.
Wow.
So we put an end to that. So now they come in, we have to see that every child, first off, is between the ages of 0 and 12, because last year we had someone try to pass off a 27-year-old. That was a first.
Is that 12-year-old?
It was funny. It was a good one. I'll never get over that one.
Good Lord.
I also have had people list, because on the application, they can list up to 10 children. And we had someone put down 10 children, and I thought the names were a little off because they were all music and movie people. I mean, I know people like to name their kids after certain movie stars and stuff, but this was really an odd application. Well, when the applicant came to pick up the toys, she only had one child. So that's another thing we have to watch for, because we know that in some cases they'll go online, Facebook Marketplace, or try and go back to the store and sell those toys. So again, going back to this. So in Polk County, we're here to help you, but we want to make sure, again, the people who donate to us, it's a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that we're doing right by them. So when they come in, they have to show us proof of the child's age and proof that the child is currently receiving benefits and proof that they reside in Polk County.
Do you ever have a parent or an adult come in and say, well, I'm picking up for my neighbor's kids also because their mom's car wasn't working, or their dad?
I've heard it all. And actually, when they apply, they can put down an alternate to pick up for them. They have to put it on the application. And that person has to bring their ID with them.
So you run a pretty tight ship.
I have to.
I mean, you have to, if someone gives you a check or someone's donates, they really fully expect that money's going to be utilized for the program that you're doing.
You know, the volunteers that work with me, they kind of laugh about some of the redundancies that I have, but I'm kind of a stickler for checks and balances because I'm the same way. I'm a very giving person, and I've worked with a lot of nonprofits, and you learn, again, unfortunately, there's always going to be somebody who tries to con the system, and again, my goal here is to take care of these kids, and if you're in need, I want to take care of you, but don't try and take advantage of it.
Yeah. How can people donate? You just said they can write you a check, but what are the other ways that people can either get toys to you or get money to you?
Well, Toys for Tots has an online donation. Now, I want to stress this because this has happened in the past. People go to toysfortots.org and they give a donation. When you go to toysfortots.org, the donation goes into the general fund. If you go to toysfortots.org and then you navigate to the Polk County site and donate, then the money goes to Polk County.
Okay.
So they can go online and donate. They can send a check. We have our P.O. Box 303 in Lakeland. It's on our website. They can send a check. They can come by the warehouse and drop off a check. They can attend our events that we do and bring money. And then, of course, always bring toys.
What kind of toys do you accept? I mean, I'm assuming you don't want people cleaning out their closet, their toy closet, and everything's beat up, and
No.
you want everything new in a box, unused. I'm assuming.
Everything that we give out is brand new. We don't do any used toys. And then I also let people know sometimes the boxes are a little bit damaged. I'll give you for instance, there's some businesses here in town that will have overstock on stuff or some stuff that was damaged in shipping.
Right.
So the product is still good, but the box is a little rough. We take that. As long as the toy is new, we're going to be able to give that to a child. But everything that we give to a child is brand new.
If someone is buying toys for grandkids online or kids online, at Amazon, they say, hey, I just heard this podcast. I just heard Angela talk with Brian. Whatever that went to a golf tournament. I want to send some stuff to Angela's organization. Can you just have the stuff from Amazon delivered directly to your location and it'll say from Todd or from Eli, or how does that work?
Absolutely. You can have stuff shipped to our warehouse. I love that. When I pull up and I see Amazon boxes, it's almost like when I go home and I see them, I'm really excited, but my husband can't yell at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do. You can absolutely always ship right to our warehouse.
And you're best friends with all the Amazon drivers, I understand.
Well, let me tell you, I ordered 8,000 boxes of crayons back during the summer, and because I didn't have access to a warehouse at that point, they came to my house. The Amazon man was not happy with me.
8 like individual boxes?
24 count boxes of crayons because school was starting up, blah, blah, blah. You know the story. And they were on sale. 8,000 boxes. Now, the Amazon guy left them on my porch. Who do you think had to move them from there? Wasn't my husband, I'll tell you that.
I get it. I get it. How about volunteers? If someone says, I can't write a check or I'd rather spend my time, how can I volunteer with your organization?
Again, you can go online on our website. They have a link at the top. It says Get Involved.
Okay.
From that link, you can sign up and come in and volunteer. We need help.
You do?
Always.
How about high school kids looking to get volunteer hours, community service hours? Sorry, thanks.
Yes, I'll take them. And I've actually encouraged that because I think, again, going back to my love for volunteerism, we need to instill this into our youth. Let's get them off the couch and unplug these kids, come in and give back. So, yes, and we will sign off on them for their hours. Yeah. But, yes, we are open to having the high school students come help.
When I went and visited your warehouse a couple of days ago, I wasn't shocked. I was just amazed at how organized it was. Most of it. The other part was organized chaos. Mm-hmm. But, I tell about how you fill an order or fill a request, maybe. I thought that was really pretty cool.
Well, now, Toys for Tots gives us freedom to do certain things. And so we're one of the few, and this is why, let me tell you, that the original or the kickoff day for Toys for Tots every year is October 1. So we start October 1. Some of these don't start up until after Thanksgiving. But anyway, so here's what's going to happen. The parent's going to put in an application online. That application is then printed by a girl in my office. We break them down into groups of 200. I take those home. I read every application. Every application that comes into Polk County last year was 15,247 kids, I believe. I read every kid's application. The parent fills out an application. They agree to our terms, which is that they're getting assistance and those type things. And we ask them to list the child's name, age, sex, and their likes. So that application comes in, I read it. Now, the reason I started really reading these is because we had an issue where a kid with epilepsy was given a fire truck.
Oh, my goodness.
So, you got the sirens and the lights. You can't give that to an epileptic child. So I separate the applications between what I call standard family applications and special needs. Now I have volunteers that come in, and you saw this. We've got shopping carts that we've gotten from Publix and Lowe's and different places. They take a shopping cart and they take that list, that application from that parent, and they shop for every one of those kids. And they try to fill their order based on what the parent has listed as their likes. Once they do that, then we have another station where it goes, where I have volunteers who bag and tag them. And we have a numbering system. It's kind of cool. Everybody's assigned a unique number. The bags are then lined up. And then on distribution day, and the parents will receive a text and an email about when to come pick up their toys. They'll come. That's the day they bring their validation, their proof of benefits and the children's ages, and they get their toys. So there's a lot of little steps that go on. There's a lot of redundancy, but that's how we get the toys out to the kids.
Did you create that system? Did Wally do it and you inherited it and make it better? Because it's like going through the toy store, the toy section of Walmart. There's shelves and everything is lined up orderly, and the shopper has a list and says, I need a book, so let me go to the book section, or I need a G.I. Joe, let me go to the G.I. Joe section, or whatever. It was a pretty cool operation of logistics, I thought.
I love it. So some of it is inherited. Some of it I put into place. I got to tell you, back when this first started in Polk County, when Wally first inherited Toys for Tots, they were picking the toys up off the floor. They'd have the brown paper, like people would put down when they paint or at a construction site. They would roll out paper on the floor and pick the toys up off the floor. And Wally was able to get a donor who donated the tables. And of course, since then, I've bought more tables because we're growing and growing and growing. But the tables were there, but they used to distribute by zip code, which was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. So I changed that. And of course, as I was telling you earlier, I've tightened up on making sure that the toys are going to families who truly are in need and are hopefully not getting sold and used for whatever. The bagging we've changed a little bit, but again, some of it was in play, but I kind of tightened it up and made it a lot better, a lot more efficient. And we've seen now we have a lot less mistakes. When I first took over, there were a lot of missing bags. There was just some other issues that we've pretty much just about eliminated.
Hey listeners, this is Johnny Townsend, two-time All-American, Hall of Fame Florida Gator, and NFL punter. We just wrapped up an awesome episode with Todd on his podcast. We talked bobsledding, we talked family rivalries, we talked Gator football most importantly, and we had one heck of a time. To stay up to date with every new episode, please subscribe to Todd's podcast wherever you are on your favorite apps, and you'll get notified every time he releases a new episode. You won't be disappointed. You got to tune into our conversation today. See you guys.
So you've got to be a year-round organization, I'm thinking. You mentioned some get cranked up in November. That almost seems like you're too far behind the timing curve for Christmas, at least seeing your operation and how you operate. Take donations throughout the year? Do you do fundraisers throughout the year? You say, hey, I got to have 3 months off after Christmas, or do you wake up on the 26th and say, okay, here's a new year. Let me figure out how we can take care of another 15,000 kids?
Well, for me, this is a year-round obligation. And the other thing people need to know, we're all volunteers. I'm not paid to do this.
Right.
I even joke, I go, it costs me money to do Toys for Tots, but that's irrelevant for me. But it's year-round, and you touch on that too. Toys for Tots is no longer just a Christmas program. We have year-round initiatives. So now we have our literacy program. Even at Christmas, we strive to give every child a book, but we have a literacy program. So back in the summer, I got with the local Kiwanis Club, and we gave books to a couple of schools. We have a foster care program we do. So back before school started, I got with one of the foster care programs here in Lakeland, and we made sure the kids had backpacks and school supplies. So for me, this is truly year-round. It is 100% year-round. But to touch back on the Christmas program, if I don't open up that warehouse, set it up and start shopping by that second or third week in October with 15,000 kids, there's no way we could facilitate that need, which is why I was saying Toys for Tots lets you kind of figure out how you want to do it. Most Toys for Tots programs They just fill up a box, and they'll have any toy under the sun. It's like for a 6-year-old girl. The next box might be a 5-year-old boy, whatever. And then they see, okay, I got a 6-year-old girl, and they just grab 3 items, put it in a bag, and that's what you get. We go that extra step, as I said, to shop and try to really fulfill that kid's wish.
Do you have a list of, say, hey, I've got 200 kids that want a G.I. Joe, or I've got 30 kids that want a book on butterflies, or whatever it may be, and then try and shop for that need? Or do you just say, I want to get a whole bunch of books of different things? And
Well, when I start out, and this year we were blessed. I'll be honest with you, I raised quite a bit of money last year, and it was a good thing. We needed it because, again, that's how we start shopping. That's why we're shopping this early in the season. I spent about $85,000. The nice thing is because I read all the applications, I have a better insight as to what the kids want. So I'm able to fulfill that. So when I start shopping, obviously I'm thinking about, okay, kids, they wanted this, they wanted that. This year, if I see one more K-pop monsters, I didn't even know what we laugh. I didn't know what they were until 2 weeks ago. I had no idea. So now I've been, you see, I know, nobody knows what they are. Anyway, so I've been struggling to buy some. I ordered some on Walmart the other day. I ordered 36 of them. And they sent me back a notice, no, you can only get 12. So apparently they're really hot, because I'm telling you, out of the applications I've read, and I've read about 1,000 so far, I would say 80% of the kids want these K-pop monster demons, whatever they are.
that's pretty, well, as good as there's that kind of demand, and that you're working that hard to fill.
You know, last night, because I'm running low on drones, I went out and bought drones last night. I was actually buying drones, blankets, and coloring books last night.
Drones like that fly in the air?
Mm-hmm. Now, they're not the type of drone you would have, Todd. They're not going to be out there with the multi-$1,000 drone.
Right.
Anything that I purchase for Toys for Tots has to be under $35.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, they're not elaborate drones, but for a 12-year-old kid, it's pretty fancy.
If someone wants a drop box for their business, you brought me one today when we're starting this. How do they get a box? Would you prefer them to come to your warehouse and pick it up? Or, I mean, you can't go drop a box off at every business, and I would never have asked you to do that had you not been coming here to record today.
Drop boxes are an interesting story. So, first off, good question. If you want to be a drop box location, we would love that. We need the community support. We love the community support. You go on our website. Again, there's that tab that says Get Involved at the top, and then underneath that, it has a thing that says Become a Drop Box Location. When you become a drop box location, you sign up online. That way we know where the box is. And there's a little story behind that, because we've had people collect before and the toys didn't come back to us. So now we want to know where every box is. Okay. So again, as I told you, we're all volunteers. So we have what we call volunteer route drivers. And these are people, and again, they're using their vehicle, their time, their gas to deliver these boxes and then go pick up the toys. If we have a volunteer available in your area, absolutely, we're going to facilitate that and help you out. If we don't, then please come to our warehouse, get a box, bring the toys back to us. I kind of joke, I said, you know, people will clean out their garage and they have no problem running down to the Salvation Army to dump their stuff, but when they have to bring toys to the warehouse, sometimes they're like, really, I have to drive there?
Eli, we need to make sure we fill out an application so our box is now duly registered.
I already did it for you.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Perfect.
I hope you put Eli's name as the person responsible.
No, it's all you, Todd.
Thank you.
I also saw some handmade toys. Tell us about how those come about.
There's a few handmade toys. So let me think about this. There was a woman who reached out to me. She had actually seen me on Brian Lacey's show a couple of years ago. And I got to tell you, I give Brian a lot of credit. I always end up with follow-up after doing his show. I thank Brian for that.
He's easy to give crap to, but he does a very good job.
He does do a good job, but we can pick on him later. Yeah. So I was doing his show, and someone involved, actually works for one of the Polk County offices, reached out, and they have a club where they make baby blankets.
Oh.
Gorgeous baby blankets. I mean, these quilts are absolutely gorgeous. So we have people who do that. We have some that make bears for us, you know, that sit around, these crafters. We love that, and we welcome that stuff.
Does our sheriff support what you're doing?
Absolutely. I tell you what, Polk County's so lucky to have Grady Judd. What a wonderful man. So this year, in the past, it has taken us 2 to 3 weeks to set up our warehouse space. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, what a challenge that is. This year, we were able to set up in a week. The sheriff's office has what they call trustees. And Grady Judd has been very generous about having those trustees. They come out with 2 officers, and those guys work, and they set us up within a week this year. They even pressure washed the floors for us in our warehouse. We could not do what we do without them, and I am so thankful that we have a sheriff who has so much respect for our community and especially the nonprofits, and helps us out like he does.
How about prisoners? Do they do anything with making things for you?
Now, there's a fun story. So everybody knows Toys for Tots logo is the train.
Yep.
The Toys for Tots. And I don't know if you know this, but that was actually designed by Walt Disney.
I learned that from listening to Brian's interview with you when I was reviewing that.
I tell people when I go out to speak, I said, yeah, there's this guy actually bought some swampland not too far from where we are. See if you can guess who I'm talking about, who created this logo that's still here 78, 79 years later.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have a train. And this was built many years ago for us. It's an operational train. It was built around a riding lawnmower. It has the 2 cars behind it, lights up. We've used it in parades. We use it for Stuff the Train events, to bring in toys. Well, the train just got rough. And I was joking, I'd have to start it up in the trailer that we haul it in, and the smoke, I told everybody, I said, you're going to find me dead from carbon monoxide in this trailer from this stupid train. So the prisoners up at the state prison in Polk City, they are rebuilding our train for us around a golf cart that was donated by Hidden Creek Golf Carts. Wonderful guy there, Ray Hilliard, donated a golf cart, put new batteries in it, and they are building us a new train. Now, when I don't have them building a train for us, for the last, I think, 15 years, they have I guess it's one of the rehabilitation programs there, and I have been there to visit. It is a true Santa's workshop. I mean, anything you've ever seen on TV with the elves working.
Right.
I mean, these guys are like elves, and they make handmade toys for us every year. Lovely toys. And the detail in them is just amazing.
Is there anything that you won't take as far as donations?
I mean, we're not going to take anything used. Things have to be age appropriate. We don't take anything that looks like a real weapon.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty much it. We just want good quality, good
Toys.
use, good toys. Yeah.
What are some of your organizational needs? You need a warehouse. It seems like you need a warehouse every year, because it seems like Wally called me every year. Hey, I need a warehouse. Is where you are now a little more permanent, or will you maybe be in a different warehouse? I know you've had generous people have donated space to you in the past.
Well, that's the other thing. Again, Toys for Tots. Our whole thing is trying to make sure every dollar, every penny, everything that we raise goes to the children. So we always have to look for donated space. My dream would be that one day we have a space of our own year-round, because if we could operate year-round, especially with these year-round initiatives, we could be a bigger force for Polk County. Right. But the space we have now is generously donated through CWI Logistics. Mark Bostic is behind that. John Hurst, who's the president of CWI, he's been very, very helpful. The location we're in this year is a new location for us. Okay. And so people understand we don't have that home year round. So, after Christmas, all those tables, all those, the tables, the equipment in there, the forklifts, the pallet lifts, all that stuff.
Back to your house?
Yeah, right. My HOA would hate me. No, they go on trailers to be stored.
Okay.
And then come around October, there we go. We go to our location and we unload again and set up shop. And it's a lot of work. Yeah. Plus, things are sitting in these trailers out in the weather. Right. Some things don't survive very well. Right. So in my dream world, I keep saying, pray to God, somebody, please give us a building that would be year-round that we could use. We don't have air conditioning. We don't have heat. I'm okay with that. I want good lighting, a nice clean bathroom, and a clean facility.
Right. Well, I'll get into, how big of a building do you need? Like about 10,000 feet?
Double that.
20.
Be perfect.
So if there's anyone out there that wants to donate a 20,000 square foot building to Toys for Tots, let us know, and I'll make sure you get in touch with Angela. And because where you are right now is a very functional space, but you don't just drive by it and say, oh, look, there's a Toys for Tots building. I mean, you kind of have to know where you're going, and then you still have to find it.
Well, that's what I tell people, and I'm actually putting this on the email that the parents get to come pick up the toys. This is the address. Now let me tell you how to get there.
Right.
I tell it to everybody. This is our address. Now I'm going to give you the real way to get
That's
there.
how you told me to get there.
That's how I told you.
Because I knew the address, and it doesn't quite get you to the exact spot.
No, but it would be nice to have a nice building again. And like I said, that would give us the ability to help out year-round and really work on all of our initiatives.
How about, you also mentioned you're getting a new train, not set, but train for the organization. You probably need a trailer to be taking those around, don't you?
Well, there comes the next problem. And I have a trailer. We've had it for years. It's a trailer that the old train was in. The floor is starting to go in it. The roof leaks. So, yeah, we're in desperate need of a new trailer. Also, being a bottle blonde that I am, I didn't think about the fact that the golf cart was going to be a little bit bigger than the lawnmower. So the trailer I have, even if it was in good shape, it's not going to fit this new train.
Right.
So, yeah, we're looking for a new 24-foot trailer, too. And when I say that, people go, well, I've given you money and I've done this and that. The money that we collect, and again, this is from the foundation, I cannot say, okay, I've got this amount of money that's been given to Toys for Tots Polk County and go out and buy that trailer. They're not going to allow that to happen. It's not going to happen. That is something we have to try and do separately. It cannot touch those funds that have been given for the children.
But I know there's people out there listening that have the ability to donate a trailer. And you don't want just a flatbed. You need an enclosed trailer that will keep your stuff dry is the main thing. Dry and out of the weather. And if you had that permanent location, maybe you don't need the trailer quite as much other than for transportation and not so much for storage. So if anyone's out there and you've got an acre of land and you want to donate a 20,000 square foot building, I think you'd be more than happy to take it.
I will do the biggest happy dance you've ever seen.
Yeah. So if you do have something like that, let us know, and I'll get you in touch with Angela. And that would be a wonderful thing to really help cement some permanence into this organization, into our community.
This organization, and I'll give you a little background on this. Jerry Axtell, a Marine here in Polk County, actually brought Toys for Tots to Polk County. And then George Overstreet ran it for a while. And then some other people would try and do it for a year or two. And then they'd give up. The Salvation Army even tried to run this program for a while. It is a lot. And then again, you're asking someone to work for free. And we know a lot of people don't like to do that. But this program has grown. I'm very passionate about it. Again, we did over 15,000 kids last year. We're adding a bike blast in now because kids want bikes. So we do our Christmas program. Now I've added a bike blast. But again, my dream for this program is, and nobody does as much for kids at Christmas as Toys for Tots. That hands down. If you think you did, please come see me. We'll compare numbers and how many hours we work. But to have a facility year round that we could work out of, to have that trailer that we can take, I have all these events coming up. I need that trailer. How am I going to get these toys back to my warehouse?
Right.
So these are things, we've got to that point now. We've grown. We have to have these things. We're at that point. These would be things that would really make us finally excel to where we need to be.
And having that permanent location, I don't mean to keep harping on that, but that would be so critical to the continuity of your organization and your efforts. Because right now you pick up and move year to year, possibly. I think it'd be a stroke of luck if you got to spend the same time, same space 2 years in a row, maybe.
That would be awesome. But, the other side of it is, and I've told this to people, let's say that, somebody's house here in Polk County burns down. Well, we know the family's going to need clothing and stuff like that. You also need to know that for children, having those few toys and having those books, those are things we can provide, even though they might not be a priority on the things that family needs. That's something I could also help do if I had a facility year-round to help them.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, this is your host, Todd Dantzler. As most of you know, I'm a partner with Saunders Real Estate and have been a very active and working broker for over 42 years. I have fostered strong relationships throughout the state of Florida, working on properties ranging from agriculture and development land to multifamily, commercial, and industrial projects. If you have any real estate needs at all, please give me a call. I'd love to help. My direct line is 863-877-2846. Thank you. What are some of the ways that you raise funds throughout the year? You had mentioned a golf tournament, but what else do you do?
Well, we have our golf tournament at Eaglebrook this year, and I want to give a shout out to Eaglebrook because they have supported this program for years. And I always tell everybody, bring your A game, but don't plan on winning any money because it all goes to Toys for Tots. I will give you a nice plaque, though, and a hat and maybe a sleeve of balls. I want to tell you about a really cool thing. I try to encourage communities to do events. And I'm going to give you an example of one who, thank God for these people. This couple up in Solovita, I don't know if you've heard of it. They call it the Little Villages. There's about 6,000 homes there. It's right on the edge, right
in my
Polk County.
district when I was a commissioner.
Great bunch of people. So this couple, John and Maria, they decided they wanted to support Toys for Tots. And this is while Wally was still with us. So they had a little thing in their driveway. Some of you in Polk County are familiar with the Sofa Kings. They had the Sofa Kings come and play in their driveway. The neighbors came over in their golf carts, and they filled up a few boxes of toys. Fast forward. They now use the whole park at Solovita. They have like 10 food trucks, 4 bands. They did like 148 baskets for raffles last year.
Wow.
But this started as a community type thing in a driveway. So that's one of the examples I like, because people go, well, my community should get involved. Well, Solovita, they should write the book on how a community should get involved. They're great. We also have other communities that help us out. Shalimar Creek, they did a Christmas in July in their community room. They got beautiful toys for us. I went and picked them up. Beautiful stuff. So you can do events year round. I tell people, be creative. Anything you want to do. We have this year a new event, a Cybertruck rally. It's going to be in Auburndale. Matter of fact, we're looking for Cybertrucks to come. This is the first time ever. They're going to have food trucks. The Cybertrucks are going to do a show. Admission to come in is bring a toy. That was something they thought of. I wouldn't have thought of that. But, these people called me up and they go, would that work? Well, absolutely. So be creative. But I'm going to give you an idea. Some of the stuff we've got coming up, and it's really, really some cool stuff, too. We do karaoke nights. Any bar could do that. Eli, you'd like to do karaoke?
You don't want to see me on that mic.
Really?
It's not a pretty sound.
This is starting to sound like one of those pageant challenges.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh. So, we have karaoke night coming up at Champs. They've been a huge supporter of us. Like I said, the Cyber Cup Rally is November 8th. We've got the Extreme Bass Tournament out at Camp Mac. I think this is their 14th year, of doing that.
Okay.
Guy that runs that is really wonderful. The Central Tavern, Linksters, Paddy Wagons, the chain of bars, the owners of that are great. They do a customer appreciation night. Now, they're telling their customers, we appreciate you, we feed you, but you got to bring a toy for Toys for Tots. Now, how creative was that?
Right.
We have a radio control club that's doing stuff. Then this one's really cool. If you want to see all the Lambos and the Ferraris, we have an exotic car show. And they drive down I-4, police escort, and they meet us downtown, and they bring, really, really nice toys. I always love that event. We also have the Festival of Lights, which is a drive-through light show in Auburndale. Right. There's also going to be a circus in Auburndale this year, where there's going to be a couple nights where the proceeds will be going, part of the proceeds will be going to Toys for Tots. And let me think, man, we've had so much stuff going on. Like I said, just be creative, be crazy. Oh, a big one. After I leave your wonderful presence today, I'm going to go meet with the Detroit Tigers.
Fantastic.
We're going to bring them on board. I'm really excited about that.
Wouldn't it be neat for them to dedicate at least a spring training game that your admission is whatever your ticket is and one toy for Toys for Tots?
Well, let's see what happens. I'm going to have a great meeting this afternoon.
So you've gotten very creative with these things. If someone comes up with an idea, you don't want them just doing it and slapping your name on it. You need it to be run through you, at least that you sanction it, correct? So it's not some funky event that someone thinks of that, hey, that was a great idea, but in reality, it really isn't.
No, and actually, again, going back to our website, there's a thing about host an event, and you can put in there what you want to do, and I will give you a call, or just call me. My personal cell phone, I probably shouldn't put that out there, but it is, call me. We want to have you call us, go by us with the event, because also we're going to help you promote that event. We're going to put it on our website. And just to make sure you're following the rules. We don't want anybody doing anything that they shouldn't be doing. Actually, I had to call an organization last year. They've been using the Toys for Tots logo, and we haven't received anything from them in years. And I told them they had to take down my logo.
Wow.
Let's be fair.
Yeah. Do you do challenges within companies? I think you mentioned that the county and Ed Wolf, even though you referred to him as a donkey several times here,
Poor Ed.
Maybe you didn't quite do that, but we'll say that for the podcast. Is he kind of coordinating the efforts from Polk County government to do the Toys for Tots? Are you challenging the different constitutionals? How does that work?
So as you know, Ed's retired from the county, and he takes over that for us. So he delivers the boxes to the county offices that collect, and then we count the toys, and we have a trophy, and we do a presentation. So, the tax collector's office might win it one year, whatever. But Ed heads that up for us. This just makes it fun, little inter-office challenge. And then we also do one with the high schools, where the high schools have a challenge, and they get so many points per bike and so many points per toy. And again, we do a trophy presentation. Eagle Lake High School has been just crazy the past few years. I think last year they gave us 178 bicycles. It was just unbelievable.
How many bicycles do you give out?
Not enough. Probably next to the K-pop demon things, the next best thing that you see on the application is a bicycle. Every kid wants a bike. And I like bikes because, again, I want to see kids unplugged. I think kids spend too much time plugged in. We've given away between 500 to 600 bikes a year, if we're lucky. I have a goal this year for 1,000. I've got some stuff I'm working on with some different people, but my goal is 1,000 bikes this year.
So if someone says, hey, I want to buy you a bike, make sure it's age appropriate, and they can bring the bike to you. Whether
Bring me
it's
a
little
bike.
boy or a little girl bike, you'll take it. And
We had a bike shop come by last week, totally surprised me, brought me 9 beautiful bikes. So absolutely. We want to have the biggest bike blast ever.
Well, I know you said the challenges with your different constitutional officers, and Ed was kind of heading that up. I do know that Melanie Bell, who's our new supervisor of elections, she is very popular in the Poinciana area, so you could do something, a competition with Solavita versus Poinciana. She's very well loved up there.
I like that idea.
So we need to certainly challenge her. But let's say a hospital wants to do something within their own staff and say, hey, I want to do an inter-office thing, not necessarily challenge Winter Haven Hospital to Bartow to Lakeland, but say, we want to take this on as our charity this year. They would still contact you. You could either help them craft a program or boxes or whoever their representative is, and you could help them to generate a program.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out to me. There is no limitation to imagination.
Okay.
We will find something and we'll try something new. Hey, the worst thing can happen. It just isn't a big success. We'll tweak it for the following year.
If you get 10 toys, that's 10 more than you
Absolutely.
woke up with.
Absolutely. Nothing's really a failure. Let's just go out there and give it a shot.
What a wonderful attitude to have. I'm assuming your goal every year is to empty your warehouse by December 25th. Do you ever make it that late? Or are you pretty much done by the December 1st, or?
Well, when I took this over, they were working right up to Christmas a lot of times. And I've tried to change that because we all have families.
Correct.
And again, these are volunteers.
Right.
And I want them to be able to spend that time with their family. So I try to have everything wrapped up in the warehouse by the 20th. And then we have that week off. And then we come back for a couple days and start wrapping things up, enjoy New Year's. And then we come back and we're completely wrapped up by the 15th of January.
But if you had your own permanent place in a safe location with lots of lighting, lots of ventilation, does it need to be dock height, or are you okay with ground level?
It doesn't have to be dock height, although that does help because we do get
Because you do get-
deliveries.
okay.
Yes. But yeah, if we had our permanent location, that would be wonderful. Then I would probably be awake on Christmas because the last 2 Christmases I have slept. I mean, here we are, what is it? The middle of October, and I had 4 hours sleep last night. But I'm not complaining. I'm not. But yeah, it would be, I can't even begin to tell you just to have our own building, what that would be for us, because it would save us so much. And I think I can see too, like we have some excess toys left over, which we use throughout the year, with foster care and these other programs we have. I have so much stuff that ends up getting, I shouldn't say so much. We have some things that get damaged.
Right.
Because we're having to move stuff and move stuff
Correct.
and move stuff. And it's just so much. 2 years ago, I had 2 trailers that are not roadworthy sitting out at Rooms to Go that they donated to us. And all of our equipment, I'd have to go rent a Ryder truck, big truck. I'd make my husband drive it, turn him into a truck driver for a day. Grady Judd would send us to trustees. They would load that truck, ride all the way out there to the airport, to the Rooms to Go, unload the stuff that they just loaded to put into that tractor trailer. It would usually take 2 to 3 trips. And then in October, we would do it all over again. So to eliminate that, oh my goodness, that would be amazing.
So if someone said, I want to donate 1.5 acres of land, they may not could do a building, but they could donate a piece of ground to at least start the foundation of this. Could you accept 1 acre of land? Could you accept a building. I mean, would the tax laws accept that to where you have 501c3, where someone could do that? Would it have to maybe go through the parent organization and then just you have a lifetime lease with them or whatever the deal is? There may be a way that people are willing to make some larger donations, but they'd also like to get a tax deduction at the same time, different than one of us giving a toy or a bike or something.
Now, that is absolutely something that I would have to go through the foundation for, but the foundation works with us very well. Again, I wouldn't even begin to entertain how we would go about that because I definitely would have to run that up the ladder. And for example, here's a blessing. We did have someone donate something yesterday that will help us with storage. But I could not call all the shots on that. I did have to reach out to Washington, where the foundation is, to get some clarification on that. And the same thing in this case. I'm sure they would work with this, but I don't know all the details off the top of my head.
But wouldn't that be cool if you just woke up and had your own building?
I probably have to pinch myself 1,000 times because I don't think I would believe it. And I got to tell you, too, even our volunteers, God love the people who help me because this is not a one-girl show. I have got some of the best volunteers. I love them so much.
I saw them in the warehouse the other day.
You know, because I knew I was going to leave the warehouse because it's very rare you don't see me at the warehouse. And I called one of my volunteers, Joe. I just love Joe. And I said, Joe, I got to go do this podcast. Can you come and open and take care of things? Absolutely. I got you. Their positive attitude. But going back to this, I've had so many tell me, if I win that lottery, I'm building us a warehouse, and I think that's so sweet that they're not thinking about, well, I'll get my kid that Lambo they wanted or this or that. First thing they say, I'm going to get Toys for Tots a warehouse.
That's pretty cool.
That means a lot.
Maybe if there's poker players out there and you want to have a big poker tournament and all the proceeds go to Toys for Tots, that may be a way to raise some funds.
You better talk to Grady Judd lately. I've been seeing some arrests. I don't want to get involved in that.
Is there anything that we didn't ask you that you still want to cover, or you said, I can't believe you didn't ask me that. I thought we had talked about that, or I'm glad this is over.
Well, let me touch base on a couple of things too about some national sponsors that we have here in Polk County that I encourage people to go see. Five Below stores. They are a national sponsor for Toys for Tots here in Polk County. When you go in this year, they'll be asking you to round up. And, of course, that money comes back. Ollie's did this last year. We have 2 Ollie stores here in Polk County, one in North Lakeland, one in Lake Wales. They do the same thing. They do round up the change. That comes back. Matter of fact, I have $3,000 now I get to go spend at Ollie's, which I'll use very well at Ollie's to get toys and books. We want to talk about a couple other things. Rooms to Go is a big sponsor. Again, we mentioned earlier, CWI, Logistics, Mark Bostic, that whole thing. I mean, if we didn't have that warehouse, there wouldn't be a Toys for Tots. So I want to touch on that. The other thing I want to make sure people understand, we've touched on the fact I'm not paid. No one in Polk County is paid. We're volunteers for this. So when you donate to Polk County Toys for Tots, there is no overhead.
Right.
100% of what is donated in Polk County goes to the program. And how that's done, when you write me a check or whatever, or go online, it goes into an account that is designated to Polk County. And I think I touched on it earlier about I can't purchase any toy over $35 or a bicycle over $100 without approval from the foundation. I have to actually put in a request for that. Even with the golf tournament that we host and I have expenses, I have to put in a request and they have to approve that. And I want people to understand that the money comes in, but it is very much protected by the foundation. Every month by the 9th, I have to go in and fill out a report. They know, because I'm using a card they've issued to me, where my expenditures, and I have to attach a receipt to that, and they go over everything. I mean, it is really, really a tight ship that they run. But I want to make sure people understand that the money you donate is not going to overhead. It is going 100% to the program for the children.
Do you have a local board of directors that helps you, so you're not just that person on the island all by yourself that you can rely on for some help to pick you up when you're kind of dragging a little bit, or calm you down when you're a little too excited?
I'm on the island, and I don't even have a volleyball. Yeah, I'm on the island. But this year I've assigned some of the volunteers who have been working with me. I've got one handling the volunteers in the warehouse. I have another one kind of overseeing the warehouse. As far as the bookkeeping and stuff goes, I have a small group of our volunteers. I'm very open with them to see what's going on, what I'm spending money on. We don't actually have a board of directors. But again, I have the foundation. I have a direct report at the foundation named Brianna. And let me tell you, she stays on you. She makes sure. And again, if I don't have everything consolidated by the 9th of every month, they cut my card off.
Yeah.
Thank God they've never had to do that. But yeah, they're pretty strict.
Well, Eli, you got anything that I haven't asked? Are you okay with what we've done today?
I think you've done great.
I think it's been a great podcast, and I want to thank you for coming on. Do you listen to music? What kind of music do you listen to?
Oh my goodness. Well, now, because tis the season, I'm not listening to Christmas music. I drove into the warehouse this morning listening to Notorious B.I.G. because I knew that would get me shook up and ready to rock and roll. Look, here I am. So yeah, I kind of blast it, whatever.
Good. Well, we have Notorious ELI right over here running the board, but
I like
You're
that
going to do
name.
some karaoke with me too.
that's right.
We'll see about that.
He likes dancing too.
Oh,
He dances and does karaoke.
these are false rumors.
The Notorious ELI. That's pretty good.
I love it. That's your new name.
I like that nickname.
Yeah. Angela, I can't thank you for getting out of the warehouse today. You have a servant's heart. You prove that every day. You seem to wake up and exude that positive attitude. I know some days are easier than others. Some days you're dragging. You might be dragging today. You said you're on 4 hours sleep right now, but I thank you for coming in and sharing your energy, sharing your passion for the Toys for Tots and your passion for volunteerism and how important it is for this community to get involved and stay involved and to help you and help the organization, help these kids, whether it's cash donation, credit card, whether you want to drop off some toys. Go to the website. That'll give you some parameters. If you know someone who may qualify for this, tell them how to get to the website, and you may help them that way. It doesn't have to be a direct donation. There's all kinds of ways to get involved, and I encourage our community to get involved creatively, to come up with new ways to raise money or raise toys. It sounds like you are flexible. If it makes sense, let's try it. It may be a huge success. It may not, but we won't know it till we try it, and that's a wonderful attitude to have as a leader.
Well, I thank you. And I want to just make sure I say this. I am every year overwhelmed by the generosity in Polk County. You know, I have met some incredible people with big hearts. And going back to my love for volunteerism, I always say, in every community there is work to be done. Open your heart and volunteer. So again, thank you, Polk County, because of the work that we all do together. And it is, again, a community effort. Over 15,000 kids last year woke up to a Christmas. And if that doesn't make your heart just open up with a big smile, then you're not human, because that's just amazing to me. So thank you, Polk County. And you know what? Let's make sure these kids get a Christmas. Let's leave a good positive impact on them.
Yeah. Well, you clearly have a servant's heart. You do God's work, and that's evident by the motivation that was instilled in you from your family. And don't know your family, and but they must be incredible people to have instilled that lifestyle into you and that motivation to help. So thank you very much. And Polk County's much richer because of you and your efforts and the efforts of all your volunteers, because I know you're not doing this by yourself. I saw some of them in the warehouse the other day, but I know you've got lots and lots of people that are helping you throughout the community. And Mark Ostick, thank you for the donation of the warehouse. For all the other people who are making donations, it's very kind of you for doing these things. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Todd's podcast. This has been your host, Todd Dantzler. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to rate, review, follow, and subscribe to Todd's podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you have any questions for me, suggestions for future guests, or are interested in sponsorship opportunities for our podcast, please just fill out the contact form on my website, todddantzler.com. I look forward to hearing your questions and feedback, and please take care.